What's going on, guys? How are you guys doing? Me, I'm doing pretty good. My anxiety's been getting to me a little bit, but I'm good. I try like really hard just to bring people quality content, quality information, so that they may change their life in one way or another, or it may help them with life from an emotional standpoint. So I'm really like for people. I really like people. I really love people. The more I try to live my life according to the way Christ did. So, Christ was love. So I try to show love to people. I try to not hold things against people, not try to be upset with people, be understanding of people, be patient with people. I have no enemies, at least that I know of. There's maybe people that don't like me for whatever reason, but in my mind, I'm cool with everybody. I've always been that type of person since I was young. I never really got into fights or nothing like that. I'm not a little guy either, so that could be a reason why. But I've pretty much have been cool with everybody. But yeah, I came to talk about something different. Not that. I wanted to talk about something in particular that's going to cover a broad area that can cover you trying to start a new job, you trying to start a new company, you trying to get over a broken relationship or a messed up relationship. So this topic of what I'm about to talk about is going to cover a lot of aspects of your life, and it really affects everyone in one way or another, because it's all about disappointment and being crushed or being broken or feeling failure in your life. And once you understand the remedy to this, it'll also show you how to be successful. So there's a plus and a negative side to this. And the positive is what we try to focus on. Perception. Perception's everything. So we want to take in things that happen to us, and we want to look at those things in a positive light. So let's get started. So life is full of up and downs, and it's our job to not allow each of those peaks and valleys to determine who we are. Because in one moment I could be down, it could feel like it's been forever, but we tend to recognize when we're down a little bit more than when we're up. So being down is going to require a lot more focus, because most people don't perceive failure, they don't perceive brokenness, they don't perceive being crushed as something positive. We all know that if we're peaking or we're doing great, we know that's positive. You don't have to tell us that, but it's hard to know that failure could be something positive if we choose to look at it in that light. And what I mean by that is, I don't know any successful person in any aspect of life that wasn't propelled to a greater future from a mistake or being crushed. Everybody that's successful was crushed at one point, but it's how they looked at it. It's how they perceived what happened, where they took that event that happened to them and they used it for good. They used it as a way to propel them to success. So failing or being crushed or being broken, that's not the end. That's not the destination. That's the transportation. Now we're in a season of learning. Now we're in a season of figuring out where we went wrong and how we can correct our mistakes. We're in a season of learning, which can be painful, which can be hard to see when you're in the midst of the storm. Hindsight 2020 is a real thing, because it's only when you go through the storm and exit it completely, you can look back and see how beneficial that storm was to your growth. When you're in the middle of the storm, it's hard to see how it's going to be beneficial for you in the future. So when you look back, typically people like to torture themselves because they'll say, oh man, I wish I did XYZ better. I wish I did that. Next time I'm going to do this, that, and that. But see, you don't come to that realization without making a mistake. You need to make the mistake in order to know that it was a mistake. That's the beauty of failing, because you never get that level of insight if your company never fails or your relationship never, breaks apart. You have to go through those things in order to know how to get better at those things. So let's talk about relationships. I have an avoidant attachment style. Now, if you were to ask me in the middle of my relationship, yo, Corey, what's an avoidant attachment style? I would have no clue. I would have no clue. Or if you would have asked me in the middle of the storm, in the middle of our relationship, Corey, what's wrong with your relationship? Why can't it be fixed? I would have no clue because I'm in the middle of it. I'm in the middle of it, and I'm having trouble navigating my way through it. So once the relationship breaks apart, once the company fails, I can begin the learning. Now I can figure out all these different type of attachment styles: a fearful avoidant, a secure attachment style, insecure attachment style, an avoidant attachment style. Now I'm doing my learning on all the different attachment styles in order to understand myself better, in order to understand my partner better, because I don't want to make those same mistakes if we were to date again, or if I was to date somebody else. I want to be at a better place. I want to understand my partner. I want to understand what makes them tick. I want to understand what triggers them. When you're able to understand them in that light, their childhood, how they were raised, what triggers them, what makes them happy, what they look for out of you, then you can have a much more healthier relationship. But I don't get that information. I don't get that knowledge without going through the storm, without failing, without being crushed. So I need that disappointment in order to grow. And sometimes that can be hard to see, but it's all about getting through those issues and actually taking the time to learn. Because if you're the person who's, maybe jumping from business to business or jumping from relationship to relationship without taking the time to figure out where you went wrong or what you need to be better at, then you're going to continue to make the same mistakes. Then you're going to continue to take those bad business practices into your new business. Then you're going to take those bad behaviors and those bad ways of being toxic into your new relationship. So you have to take time to figure things out. You have to take time to learn. You have to take time to heal. You have to take time to get a better understanding of yourself in order to grow, in order to develop. When you lift weights, when a person lifts weights, you can't constantly do the same muscle every day over and over. You have to give that muscle a break, because when you're working out, you're tearing the muscle tissue. You're tearing it, and it needs to repair. And if you're constantly working it out, you're not allowing it to repair. And that's how people injure themselves. The same way as a relationship. If you're constantly jumping into new relationships, relationship after relationship, without taking the time to heal, you're going to end up hurting yourself even more. You're going to end up with constant bad relationships, short-term relationships, nothing fruitful, nothing that's lasting long. If you're continuing to take the same bad business practices into each new adventure that you want to do, then you're going to constantly have failing businesses because you didn't learn. You didn't take the time to learn from those mistakes that you made from the first business that you had. So failure is all about learning. It's all about wisdom. Being broken, being crushed. It's all about learning. It's all about wisdom. And it builds character. You know what it's like to be hurt. You know what it's like to have a failing business. So you're better equipped the next time around because you took that time to understand where you went wrong at. You took the time to figure out the problems that you made and how to fix those issues. You know, I like to throw in like little metaphors or things like that, or little stories to better help you understand like what I mean. You know, Jesus used to talk in parables, and he talked in parables because people understood his message better when he delivered it through stories. So what I'm explaining is similar to the process of making wine. In order to extract the best part of the grape, it has to be crushed. It has to go through that process of being destroyed and being refined in order to come out to the great tasting wine that we have at the dinner table. So no different than you. Sometimes you're going to have to be broken. Sometimes you're going to have to be crushed in order to get the best part of you. Something that could have killed you or should have killed you became the catalyst and the urgency through which you evolved to become the highest expression of who you were meant to be. So in essence, your greatness is directly correlated with your brokenness or your failure or your disappointment. So your success and your greatness doesn't exist without the failure, without the disappointment. So in order to have a peak, you must have a valley. One can't exist without the other. They are both needed. So we need to change the way that we choose to look at disappointment, failure, or being crushed. We need to start seeing those all as positive things. We need to change our perception. Make the decision that we're going to learn, we're going to grow from those situations, those events. We're not going to allow those events to break us. We're not going to allow those events to force us to slip into depression. We have control over this. This is something that's within our control. But we have to have the right frame of mind. See, you weren't raised to be fruitful. You were raised to be crushed, just like the grape. The grape is grown to be crushed. Yet some people eat grapes. But the highest form of it is grown to be crushed. Very similar, let's go back thousands of years. Very similar to Jesus. Jesus was born to be crushed. And through his death, we're allowed to repent for our sins. So through destruction comes greatness. See, your greatness is somewhere down there inside of you, but only pressure will get it out. Remember, pressure forms diamonds. So don't worry, don't be anxious. Just learn to overcome. You see, I like to say that my wisdom comes from my mistakes. You're only as smart as you were a fool. Remember that. So the more mistakes that you have made, the more opportunities of learning you've had. as long as that you see those mistakes as opportunities. But it's really all that I had for you guys today. I hope it wasn't too long. We'll see when I edit the video. But I hope it's some quality content that you guys can take away, and apply to your life. Because obviously somebody who's thumbing down all my videos, obviously they're not getting anything from my videos. They have some type of agenda against me. They don't like me for whatever reason. But for real, I hope, I hope they address me one day about it. Because I would squash any problem that we have. I don't want problems with nobody. I just, at where I'm at in my life, I'm at a peace that surpasses all understanding. I am peaceful today. I am no longer that angry, toxic guy from back in the day that was always upset at everything. That's not me. That's no longer me. God has healed my heart 10 times over. So I have no animosity. I have no anger towards anybody. I just want love in my life. I want meaningful people in my life. And I want people that are, really genuine, that are for me, because I am not a person who's fake. I'm pretty much, if I rock with you, I rock with you. I like you. You cool to me. And I got your back through, any situation. So those are the type of people I want in my life. But I thank you guys for checking out this video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.